Kim Driscoll, and I just want to say thank you so much to all the folks involved in this amazing public-private partnership. I'd like to recognize a couple of my colleagues as well. Ward 2 Councilor Obed Matul, Ward 4 Councilor Natasha Mejji-Radri, my colleague in local government, Mayor Squillia from Fitchburg, Representative Jenny Armini, Representative Dan Cahill, Senator Brendan Crichton are here as well, and we are so excited to be joined by such wonderful organizations on a topic of such extreme importance to this community, affordability, and helping folks find their way in an increasingly challenging world. It's important to us here in Lynn. Half of our residents are cost burdened by housing, paying more than 30% of their income towards housing. And half of those residents are severely cost burdened, meaning they're paying half of their income towards living, their housing costs. And that is a result of recent market forces, as well as particularly here in Lynn, long-standing forces of disinvestment and discrimination. And it means that our neighbors, as we speak, are experiencing displacement, at risk of displacement. It means that families who are looking to get a start don't know where to go. And businesses are worried every day about retaining their employees. And so we are centering in our administration a goal for inclusive growth, continuing to grow, but doing it in a way that benefits everybody, and supporting first-time home buyers in ways that this program that you'll hear about more will, fits squarely within that vision. And you know, we're thinking about here in Lynn, we're part of the greater Boston economy, but as many of you know, there's real disparities between our residents in Lynn and the rest of the region, to the point that 88% of Lynn households are below the area median income. So programs like this are really going to be broadly beneficial for our folks. And as a community that's majority people of color, it's also a tool to address systemic wealth disparities. So for those reasons and many more, we are so excited about this, and I am so honored to introduce a key leader in this effort, and someone who has taken such great initiative and leadership on this crisis, really statewide, and someone who is always there to support what we're doing here in the city of Lynn on this issue and many others, Governor Maura Healey.
Well, good afternoon, and thank you so much, Mr. Mayor, for your leadership. It's always great to be in Lynn. We have an incredible collection of individuals here today and organizations. You'll hear shortly from our fabulous Lieutenant Governor Kim Driscoll, our Secretary of Housing and Livable Communities at Augustus, Clark Ziegler of the Mass Housing Partnership. We've got an all-star team of public and private leaders represented in this room today. I want to thank Mayor Nicholson not only for hosting us, I also want to thank the members of the City Council for your collective dedication to the residents. And you know, you just spelled it out, what the numbers are, what the reality is for families here in Lynn and in so many places across our state. And from day one, our team, our administration has been focused on making Massachusetts more affordable, more competitive, and more equitable. And today, we're able to announce something that is in line with driving all of that. And we do that in part because we have great legislative leaders like Senator Crichton and Rep. Cahill and Rep. Armini, who not only make possible funding that we're going to talk about today, but also remember this is in the context of really transformative legislation that we've been able to get done. Our administration prioritized out of the gate that we were going to build more housing in this state. You know, when we started the LG&Me, we're down about a couple 100,000 housing units in the state. We hadn't been building housing here in the state. We sought to change that. We put forward the Affordable Homes Act, proposed legislation to incent more development around the state, $5 billion housing bond bill. Thank you, legislature. We got that done, and I was able to proudly sign that into law a couple months ago. Just last week, I was able to sign into law the proposed economic development bill that we filed, right? That aligns with so much of what we're trying to drive here in Lynn and around the state. And we're continue to prioritize, moving forward. And we've also said this is about teamwork, and that's why I'm so grateful to be here today with two incredible leaders, two incredible teammates, Lee Pelton of the Boston Foundation and Bob Rivers of Eastern Bank. We're going to hear from them shortly, but we are just so lucky that we have the leadership and the commitment, the shared commitment to making Massachusetts more affordable, more competitive, and more equitable. I also know we appreciate, we're joined here today by Nicole Obie of BECMA, again, one of the many organizations that is helping guide our administration and drive all of us forward. Look, Massachusetts, we've got a lot to be proud of. We are #1 in the country for education, for healthcare, for innovation. We were just ranked the best place to have a baby, to raise a family, to live if you're a woman. There are a lot of ways that we value residents here in the state, and we look to protect their rights, protect their freedoms, and afford a quality of life for families around this state. But we also know there's a barrier that prevents too many people from enjoying life here in the Commonwealth, and we've sought about trying to fix that. That barrier is housing. It's the reason that the rent's too high, the price of home ownership is out of reach for too many, and that's why, under Secretary Augustus's leadership, we've really, really prioritized. This is a problem, as I mentioned, that's built up over decades, but we've wasted no time in getting after it and trying to remedy that, because it affects everybody in our state. It continues to be a reason for the persistence of wealth disparities, not just along racial lines, but zip code and geography in our state. So we are focused on working state government, local government, the business community, nonprofit community, everybody working together. And today we celebrate the establishment of a first-time homeowners buyer program with initial combined investment of $11 million. It's the One Plus Mortgage Program, and let's give a hand for what it accomplishes. Here's the One Plus Mortgage Program. Who's associated with One Plus Mortgage Program in the room today? Yeah, you guys can raise your hands too. This is an awesome program, and it's built on a proven model of success. It's going to help low and moderate income families in 29 cities and towns around Massachusetts, including all of our gateway cities, become homeowners. It will help with down payments and other costs totaling up to $50,000 for each participant. And it will help us unlock home ownership around this state. I want to thank everybody who's been involved in stepping forward to make this such a priority for Massachusetts. And I also want to say to any other potential funders out there, we welcome you, we encourage you to get involved in this program. With that, I'm going to turn it over to our fabulous Lieutenant Governor, Kim Driscoll.
Thank you, Governor. Thank you, Governor. It's really is quite a celebration to be here. All of us coming together to celebrate an exciting new pathway to home ownership for residents across the Commonwealth. As many of you know, I was the mayor of the small city next door for a number of years, and I saw the impact, really the impact of gateway city housing prices continuing to increase. You're talking about places like Lynn and Salem and Fitchburg and New Bedford and Fall River and Lowell, communities that used to be livable, that were the affordable places to live. And frankly, too often they're not affordable anymore. Just as your city's hitting its stride, you begin to see who's being harmed by these high costs of housing. Very people you rely on, workers, seniors, recent graduates, the people who are making our cities great are having a real hard time staying in them. And I think as an administration, we came in with a strong commitment to not just admire this problem tied to housing. We have got to do something about it. And this, as you know, housing impacts the heart and the emotion of communities. It's a key to the affordability And for us, it's also being able to stay in and make livable these authentic places where we live. The character of many of our communities are at stake if we don't figure this out. People are feeling that stress, that this barrier that's pushing them out of cities and frankly out of Massachusetts. And addressing this high cost of housing, it's not a challenge that any one entity, any one level of government can take on by itself. What we learned is that it takes a whole lot of hard work and focus, but most importantly, partnership. And that's why we're so grateful to be here today with broad, committed, public-private partners, everyone understanding what it's going to take and understanding that the future for our communities and the future for our Commonwealth depends on us coming together to solve this challenge. City officials who are serving residents, employers who need workers, philanthropists who want to make a big impact, and state and quasi-public agencies who can put it all together. That's what it's really going to take. And what we have here with One Plus is just an amazing opportunity to build on the relationships we've had and the strengths that we have, knowing what we need to do, but having the resources and the partners to put it together. It's going to have a tremendously positive impact on communities, having home ownership be more affordable and more available in places where, frankly, that's what individuals on the ground truly want. That's going to allow people to invest their life savings and their dreams in our cities. This is going to make our communities stronger and improve the quality of life for all. When you think about it, this is what people want who are living in communities, the chance to own a piece of the place they love and where they live. So we're really grateful for the strong leadership of our philanthropic partners to make this possible. We hope many others will join in. It's One Plus. That doesn't mean there's not room for others who want to participate. And we're just so thrilled that this has come together in such a meaningful way. And I have the great honor of introducing a real change agent in our state. 2 years ago, the Boston Foundation took on the task of convening a broad group of stakeholders to address the racial wealth gap. And that really took hold. It led to a lot of conversations, broad conversations, but more importantly, it led to action. And the program we're launching today is a direct result of that partnership. It is emblematic of his civic leadership and deep commitment to equity that we are joined here today by the president of the Boston Foundation, Lee Pelton.
Well, thank you, Lieutenant Governor and Governor, for being here, and thank all of you for being here. You know, as Greater Boston's Community Foundation, one of the Boston's Foundation's core strategies is improving lives and strengthening communities in our commitment to closing racial wealth gaps, both here in Boston and in the region. And doing this by increasing home ownership and significantly increasing the equity of those homeowners. This investment will generate more than $160 million in equity for these households over 10 years. And as you just heard, this is a program that we established in 2022, 2 years ago, and we brought together 40 financial, nonprofit, philanthropic, analysts, government, and civic leaders to tackle this issue head on. And our idea is simply this: to commit ourselves to launching a down payment assistance program which will raise at least $25 billion to help 500 families from low and moderate income households in the greater Boston region to achieve home ownership and to significantly increase their equity. And as I said, this investment of $25 million will unlock $162 million in equity for these households over a decade. However, I want to say today and very publicly that our $25 million investment is a floor, not a ceiling, because big problems require big solutions. And we are off, as you heard today, at a really great start. To get this support to the households that need it the most, we selected the Massachusetts Housing Partnership as our first partner with the support of the Boston Foundation, with Eastern Bank, and with State Street Foundation, and of course the Commonwealth. And as you heard today, our collective efforts have catalyzed over $11 million in funding with this launch today. And I'm especially glad that MHP's provision of down payment assistance and affordable mortgage projects are aligned with the governor and the lieutenant governors larger home ownership agenda of driving housing production, decreasing housing costs, and increasing affordable home ownership. I think, as we all know, too many individuals and families struggle to pay their rent. We just heard that from the mayor. To save money for a down payment on a first home, to pay child care, or invest in a modest retirement. And equity in a home provides households with the assets that they need to cover their expenses, to start a business, to pay for college, to pass wealth on to their descendants. It offers financial security and well-being, and it closes the economic and social opportunity gaps between those who enjoy its benefits and those who have not done so. But the reality is that closing the racial wealth gap will benefit all of us, all of us. It lifts all boats. The Massachusetts Taxpayers Foundation estimated that closing the racial wealth gap alone in Massachusetts could raise the state's GDP by $25 million over the next 5 years. So we have our work cut out for us, and however, I'm certain that with the support from the administration, from civic-minded friends like Eastern Bank and State Street, our partnership members, and others who want our citizens to thrive, there is no limit to what we can achieve. The Massachusetts Housing Partnership, in addition to being a member of our Racial Wealth Gap Partnership, is a team that has recorded success in creating home ownership for individuals and families living in underserved, under-resourced, and historically marginalized communities. And we have every confidence in their ability to unlock home ownership opportunities and equity growth for hundreds of families in Greater Boston, our gateway cities, and beyond. And so thank you all again for being here. And now it's my pleasure to welcome the Executive Chair and Chair of the Board of Directors of Eastern Bank Shares and Eastern Bank, my dear friend, Bob Rivers.
Well, thank you, Lee. Thanks for your leadership on this program, to the work of your team, and more broadly, as you said, convening a group of community leaders focused on the need to close the racial wealth gap. Again, everyone, thank you so much for being here for the launch of this important program. My Eastern colleagues and I, in particular my colleague Nancy Steger, the President and CEO of the Eastern Bank Foundation, are delighted to be here for today's launch. Our company purpose is simple. We do good things to help people prosper. And this program is designed to do just that. We bring our strength as the largest community bank in Massachusetts, with our roots right here in Lynn and Salem that go back over 200 years. We created our foundation 30 years ago, and since then we have donated more than $17 million to community organizations focused on housing insecurity, and affordable housing. Over the past decade alone, Eastern Bank's lending activity has financed over 10,000 multifamily affordable housing units with loans totaling $2.2 billion. Our commitment to affordable housing has resulted in about 12,000 low to moderate income families having a safe place to call home. We know that housing is one of the most critical issues of our time. And that's why Eastern, both the bank and the foundation, are delighted to be an integral part of this initiative. We've been an active lender with Mass Housing Partnership for decades. And as we have with many MHP programs, Eastern Bank is one of the first lenders to commit to this program. In fact, Eastern has a total loan commitment to the Mass Housing Partnership in excess of $220 million to support affordable housing. This is far and away our largest loan to one borrower and the largest commitment to MHP of any bank headquartered in Massachusetts. And going deeper this time, the Eastern Bank Foundation has committed $4 million in funding to set this program on its course to help residents of our gateway cities to purchase their first homes, specifically in Lynn, Lowell, and Lawrence. As Lee indicated, we've been a part of the Boston Foundation's Wealth Gap Partnership since its inception 2 years ago. Home ownership is a classic and important way for residents to build equity and transfer wealth from one generation to another but for many families, it is out of reach in Massachusetts. This initiative combines the efforts and leadership of the Healey-Driscoll administration, our nonprofit sector, and our business community in ways that will make a significant difference to homebuyers. This is bringing a good home to our communities in an important new way. We encourage other companies and other foundations, other funders, to participate in this program in any way that you can, so that there are even more resources available to first-time homebuyers. Once again, thank you for joining us for good. Now I'd like to invite our Secretary of Housing, Ed Augustus, to the podium. Ed?
Thank you, Bob. And thank you to Governor Healey and Lieutenant Governor Driscoll for your leadership in making Massachusetts more affordable and equitable for everyone. I want to especially thank Mayor Nicholson on his leadership here in Lynn and for really being all in on housing. And I want to again echo the governor's appreciation to the legislators who are here. All three were leaders on the Affordable Homes Act and helping us get that over the finish line. Thank you for your support. And thank you to the Boston Foundation, the Mass Housing Partnership, for your commitment to strengthen our communities with more access to affordable ownership opportunities. And thank you to Bob Rivers of Eastern Bank Foundation, and all the partner banks and credit unions across Massachusetts for your collective efforts in bringing this vision to life. We have seen the success of this program in Boston, and now we're going bigger and bolder. We are building on what works, and we will deliver the ONE+ program to 29 communities, 26 of which are our gateway cities. Public-private partnerships like this show that by working together, we can turn the tide on our housing crisis. Rents are high, and ownership, which once had been the cornerstone of achieving the American dream, remains out of reach for so many, especially in our communities of color. Back in May, the Lieutenant Governor and I met with first-time home buyers to hear more about their experiences. We met with one woman who benefited from the Mass Dreams program, but her biggest concern was about her adult children and whether they would have the same opportunity that she had. She worried that those children would not be able to stay in Massachusetts and have all of the benefits of ownership. It's in our nature to want the next generation to be able to reach further than we have. But too often, many of our low-income households have been blocked from fulfilling those dreams. Today is one step toward fixing that disparity. The Healey-Driscoll administration is committed to eliminating harmful barriers to entering into homeownership. The home buying experience can be daunting for first-time home buyers, and the ONE+ program is not only creating affordable housing options, it's providing homeowners with confidence when purchasing a home. Now, first-time home buyers can get down payment assistance, closing cost assistance, and interest rate discounts needed to close a deal. We estimate that this initial investment will provide home equity for 500 underserved low-income and minority households. Today is a celebration because we believe in a Commonwealth where everyone has the opportunity to have their own home and achieve a piece of the American dream. Now I'd like to introduce someone I've had the pleasure to work with and serve on his board. He and his team do amazing work day in and day out in helping make homeownership and housing, affordable housing, a reality. Clark Ziegler of Mass Housing Partnership.
Thank you. My career aspiration is using a mic at the same height as Secretary Augustus, so I'm feeling pretty good about myself. Thank you all for being here, and thanks for all the kind words from people behind me about partnering with MHP. We feel exactly the same way about you, and it's been a great path that we've all been on. The governor beat me to the punch in having a show of hands, so I won't do that again, but I do want to give special credit to our homeownership team. They're mostly against that wall over there. They've been moving heaven and earth over the last several months to make this program operational. They are an absolutely fabulous team, and I think that those of you representing financial institutions out here can attest to that. So thank you all for your great work. I'm in kind of a unique position because MHP is part of a national organization of nonprofit housing partnerships. And every year we go around the table and talk about what's happening in our states to close the racial homeownership gap, to create further opportunity, to expand mortgage access. Every time I talk about what we've been doing in Massachusetts, the other folks are just awestruck by what we do here. So we're always holding our own feet to the fire and trying to do more. And but from the perspective of most of the rest of the country, they are just absolutely amazed at what we're able to do. Now it turns out that meeting is coming up next week. I'll be in Texas doing my normal presentation. And even before the launch of this program, it was really like shooting fish in a barrel, talking about what we're doing here and how well it works. And in sort of deference to the governor, I would say it's a layup. It was just a layup shot for us. So what am I going to say to folks next week when I tell them about this announcement and what we're doing? And when you really put it all, end to end, the details of this initiative are really, really impactful and really impressive. It only begins with deep down payment assistance and closing cost assistance. We also have an interest rate buy down. These are 30-year fixed rate loans. We are buying down interest rates more than a full percentage point for the life of the loan. That is a very big deal. As has been mentioned, we're expanding what's been a pilot in Boston to 29 other cities around the Commonwealth. And those are cities not only where the opportunities are great, but also where folks have been most disadvantaged by failures of the past in terms of access to mortgage lending. So that's a huge consideration where we're really focusing these resources. Our program does not require mortgage insurance, and that reflects a partnership with banks going back for decades with our mortgage lending program. That saves homeowners hundreds of dollars a month and either makes it possible for some who would otherwise not be able to buy to become homeowners or expand purchasing power. We have a proven underwriting model, again, working closely with our bank partners, that has achieved record low delinquency rates and default rates. We are getting people into mortgage loans that they can afford over time, and that's sort of a basic part of our program. And finally, we have built into the program really robust post-purchase counseling and assistance from a network of nonprofits across the Commonwealth. So there are a lot of pieces to this program. And when I do my little song and dance next week, I don't think they're going to be awestruck. I think they're going to need sedatives. So feeling really good about what we're all doing together here. And I think what's really important is I think back at this is what impresses people in other states the most about Massachusetts isn't exactly what we do, but how we do it together here. We all get to the table, whether it's state government, local government, banks, community advocates, now philanthropic foundations. We talk to each other and figure out what we can do, how to improve it, how we can really change the rules of the game to have the impact that we'd like to see. And in that spirit, we're going to leave today. We're going to go, make some loans. But I know, because it's the way we're all wired, we're going to go back and we're going to try to make this program bigger and bolder and even more impactful, because that's just how we all work together. So that's really exciting for us. So we're thrilled. We love working with all of you. And it's my pleasure to introduce David Giles, a homeowner who benefited from our predecessor program, Mass Dreams, to talk about the human side of what it really means to open up doors to homeownership. So, David?
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you to the governor and esteemed members of her cabinet, Mayor Nicholson, and all invited guests here. 15 years ago, I arrived in Boston for graduate school with $76 in my bank account, no savings, and nearly 9 months of overdue car payments. I struggled to find housing near Boston due to skyrocketing rents and barely made ends meet week to week. Back then, my only goal was survival, just make it. I'm grateful for the robust social safety net programs in Massachusetts that helped me get by and eventually get through those tough years. These programs, designed to support everyday working people, were my lifeline. To me, they are the embodiment of the care economy that defines this great Commonwealth. At that time, I couldn't imagine a future where I'd own a home. Today, I'm proud to stand here as a homeowner living the American dream, thanks to the support of programs like Mass Dreams, Stash, MAHA home buying classes, and the 1+ mortgage program. These programs and the dedicated people behind them made what once seemed impossible into my reality. This year, I reap the blessings of this care economy. Home ownership. Lynn, with its artsy charm, waterfront views, and diverse community, was the perfect place for me to call home. As a musician and teacher, finding a vibrant, creative community aligned with my values was a dream come true. Lynn has young families, storied histories, and everyday people working to make it stronger for all who live here. Since moving in, I've enjoyed exploring its restaurants, driving along the scenic byways, and settling into my home. A stunning top-floor condo with 20-foot ceilings and sunlit windows. This journey to home ownership, though, was not without challenges. The mortgage process often felt overwhelming, but I had a team of incredible professionals guiding me. Percy Stallworth, my MAHA instructor, encouraged me to build a strong support system. Antonina Fenelon of the Stash program taught me saving strategies that continue to serve me today. And Michelle Miser at Eastern Bank, my MVP loan officer, strategized and supported me with unwavering dedication. These individuals didn't just help me buy a home, they saw my humanity. They stood by me when my father passed away during the process, giving me space and grace to grieve while staying committed to my dream. Their belief in me and my abilities to succeed was deeply impactful, and their service exemplifies the power of everyday people working together. We all want to believe in a society where those in power and those on the front lines work for us. This journey, supported by everyday people with extraordinary commitment, proved that belief to be true. As a singer, I often think of life through music. My home buying journey had a theme song. It would be Everyday People by Sly and the Family Stone. We've got to live together. I am no better, and neither are you. We are the same, whatever we do. There's a divine power in people coming together for the greater good. The programs that help me are proof of what's possible when communities and leaders collaborate. The expansion of 1+ mortgage is one more step towards creating extraordinary opportunities for everyday people. I'm proud to live in a commonwealth of care, where the social safety net is real and programs like Mass Dreams and Stash make a tangible difference. These programs aren't just dreams. They have real benefits made possible by passionate advocates and leaders like you. Thank you for helping people like me achieve the dream of home ownership. And together, we can continue building a brighter, more inclusive future for all. Give some great pleasure.
but this state found ways to support David. And, you know, it's just important to remember, right? Like, the ROI for us as a state, you know, these aren't giveaways, these aren't handouts. The ROI, Bob will back me up as a banker on this, it's real. It's real, you know? Think about what he's doing. He's teaching young people at Berklee College of Music, one of our esteemed institutions that attracts people to Massachusetts. He is teaching young people, just put on SpongeBob over at Wheelock Children's Theater. Amazing, right? Inspiring young people. Living here in Lynn and the great work that Mayor Nicholson is doing and developing out Lynn, including a vibrant arts economy, which is something that we really support. The ROI is huge for us, and that's why I'm so proud of it. I appreciate Bob Rivers wearing his Team Massachusetts bracelet, because that's what it's about. It's about teamwork and, you know, for the support of the Eastern Bank Foundation, the Boston Foundation, State Street Foundation, working with MHP, you know, working with others. We're just so grateful. So one thing we want to do is spread the word about this. And if you're interested today, please use, there's a QR code somewhere. Where is it? It's up there. Okay. Take a picture of that and make sure you spread the word across your networks. Not only for those who might be interested in participating in a program that will enable them and put them on the path towards home ownership, but also partners out there who are interested in the ROI and know that these are great investments for our communities. You know, it's Thanksgiving this week, and it's a time of gratitude, it's a time of reflection, it's a time to be with friends and family. It's also a time, I hope, of renewed hope and introspection about what's possible. While there are challenges in our state, challenges in our country, there's also really wonderful things happening. And we each have agency in this as a team, from no matter where we come, no matter our position, everybody's got a role to play in continuing to make Massachusetts great, continuing to grow our economy, continuing to afford greater opportunity to residents around Massachusetts. And when I listen to David recount what this program has meant for him, boy, am I ever filled with hope and optimism about what's possible. So thank you, everybody. Happy Thanksgiving. We're happy to take questions on topic. And other than that, we're